In the early part of the 20th century, music publishing pretty much was in Lower Manhattan. 28th Street, between 5th and 6th Avenues, almost all the publishers were there. And the way they made money was every few days a new song would come out. And they were banal, silly, they didn't last, they were meant to just come and go so that people would buy sheet music. They had names like Run Into the Roundhouse, Mother, They Can't Corner You There. And my favorite is, would you rather be a colonel with an eagle on your shoulder or a private with a chicken on your lap? You think I'm making this up? There's a cover sheet for it. And the way they attracted people to buy the sheet music was in the morning, the publishers wheeled out these old player pianos onto the street, and they hired pluggers to come and play as loud as they could to get people to notice that publisher. And there were dozens of them rattling their pianos. In fact, some of them put thumbtacks on the keys, on the hammers, so they would be louder and more crass and attract people over. And people bought music. It was so loud and cacophonous that it sounded like people banging pots and pans. And that 28th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue was known as Tin Pan Alley. That's where it started. Around 1913, a little bit before, young teenager, wandered down to 28th Street to get a job, George. His family had shortened their name to Gershwin to make it sound more American. And he got a job with one of the biggest publishers, Remick. And he played and played and played and thought it was such cliche music, he would do something better. And he wrote piece after piece after piece, and they never got published. Finally, this publisher, one of the biggest down there, took one of his pieces and named it Rialto Ripples, Gershwin's first piece. cover sheet for this. The next thing is entirely different. This is written in about 1925, summer of 1925. Yeah. And if I don't explain what you're going to hear, you'll miss the point. No, this really is, I would think, autobiographical. This is Concerto in F. For piano and orchestra, this is the original piano version. The second movement is dark. It starts out sad, withdrawn, introspective, like a November drizzly, rainy day that you just sit and mope. Somewhere in the middle, there's a semaphore. Something that shows you that something is happening. Something is going to change. And it's, here comes again. And he brings in a new melody. And all of a sudden, this dark, monochrome day turns into brilliant technicolor. It's like Dorothy waking up in Oz and opening the window into something happy and luxurious. And it builds. It gets more and more exciting, uninhibited, and in the midst of this fire, all of a sudden, like splashing water on his face, it wakes up. And suddenly it reverts to this introspective, monochrome, sad. Let me just play the beginning of this to show you what this, I'm going to start in the middle of this movement, but the beginning of it starts. Sort of like the blues. Here it is starting in the middle.
do now. And we're going to start with maybe Gershwin's most famous piece, Summertime, from Porgy and Bess. And I'm just going to give you a little history lesson here. The first opera written by an African American was actually written in France, and his name was Edmond Dédé. He was born in 1827 in Louisiana. He was born free, and he didn't like living in the United States for obvious reasons. He went to Mexico and worked in a cigar factory to earn up enough money so that he could leave the United States. And he went to Paris, where he was accepted into the Paris Conservatory in the 1850s. He got his education there, and he became a renowned band leader. He was essentially the George Gershwin of France. In Bordeaux. He settled in Bordeaux, married a French woman. They had a son, Eugène Arcade Dédé, who also became a band leader and composer. His opera was written in 1887, Morgiane, and it is based on Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. In 1911, Scott Joplin, to whom George Gershwin owes an awful lot in his style, wrote an opera called Tremonisha, about a young woman a black woman who lifts her community out of superstition and fear through education. Scott Joplin was married to an educator, and he based his heroine on Freddie, on his wife. Morgiane was staged for the very first time in 2025 in New Orleans, 138 years after it was written.
Wow.
Tremonisha, written in 1911, was staged for the very first time in 1972. And in 1976, Scott Joplin was awarded a posthumous Pulitzer Prize based on that opera for his contributions to American music. Porgy and Bess, written in 1935 by a white man with an all-black cast, set in the docks of Charleston, exploring themes of racism and stereotypes and addiction, staged in 1935 and was a massive hit. So I just invite you to contemplate the differences between those three composers and the delays in their premieres as we enjoy Summertime, quite literally. Okay.
Summertime, and the living is here.
say, and I won't get political, we're just going to enjoy this next piece.
Ready?
Yeah. Sorry.
Gershwin was asked to write music for a movie with Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. The movie was Shall We Dance? And in the middle of the movie, there's a scene where they are walking a dog on the deck of a luxury liner. And the piece that George Gershwin wrote was called Walking the Dog. It was later republished in 1960 as Promenade. And I'll play Lisa, and finally Swanee. Swanee was the highest grossing music that Gershwin wrote. Probably because it was in one of the first, if not the first, movie that had synchronized voice. Sung by the popular guy of the day, Al Jolson. We'll start with Walking the Dog. there's a vintage cartoon. Cartoon is a young guy on a desert island, and he's holding a magic lantern in his hand. And there's a great blue genie swirling above him, and the genie says, "You have one more wish." And the guy says, "I got rhythm, I got music, who could ask for anything more?" You all know this. This is a cut version of the original. You know what it